Go for it.
Right then. Welcome once more to Ferelden, the world of Dragon Age. When we last left our adventuring party, as much as it could be called that, more like a group of thugs at this stage, you had just successfully ruined Ban Roa's estate, though you had not made out with much in the way of loot, unfortunately. It seems your elf had a little bit of trouble staying, out of trouble, due to no fault of his own, simply a lot of bad luck and assumptions about pointy ears. You ended up having to, escape a little suddenly, and, there's no ignoring it. One of you decided that a distraction was in order, and that his sort of distraction involved murder. That was murder.
Yes.
Now, you also committed murder of a different sort, but you were hired for that, so that's okay.
That is at least murder with a point.
Well, he had a point as well, but regardless, that's two dead nobles now, who one of which was very clearly assassinated from a hidden source, and the other one was more assassinated in the blunt manner of a mage attacked him. You have scarpered to your various hidey holes, and I'm just going to ask how long you plan to hide in those holes. You're going to spend most of the day trying to hide away in wherever it is you are, or are you going to go somewhere? And I'm going to start with Sarrebaas.
I got nowhere to go. I'm good here.
Alright, Momrin.
Confident in the fact that he's carrying everything of worth that they got for the place. He's going to go for a normal night and drink himself silly.
Fair enough.
Does she know where Sarrebaas is?
Technically, no.
Then she'll would have checked where she thought he might be.
You discover Mogren being drunk.
Yeah. She's not necessarily hiding, because of all things she shouldn't be.
Renlishan?
Well, I'm fairly confident that once I take off my makeup, get back into my normal clothing and/or armor instead of this very, very nice suit. It's such a tragedy. It's going to be interminably associated with murder now. I'm fairly confident that there's going to be 3 or 4 elves matching my description in the alienage who are just going to be beaten in the next week. So I think laying low only as far as until morning should be good enough.
You have a deeper understanding of this world's lore than you admit to, you know that, right? Because that's pretty much exactly what's going to happen. Thus, that's all I need to know. Come morning, let's see, let's start with the most obvious one, Sarrebaas. I don't know how to call it other than your door is kind of kicked down by men, angry men, who you think and kind of hope work for your boss. I mean, they look like the sort that do. And they look mad.
Greet them in Cune-lot.
That causes a small pause, but one of them does respond that Herrick would like to see you right the fuck now.
Oh.
I mean, you don't, put up a fight, they're just going to escort you. If you try and do stuff, do it for me. All right.
No, I'll want them unless they actually seem to be a threat to my life.
No, they're not actively trying. Well, they're a threat to your life, but they're not an active threat, let's say. Mogren, you just kind of wake up in Herrick's.
This is not an uncommon occurrence.
Valera, you receive a very polite knock.
I guess I'll politely open the door.
A man who's roughly the size of the door is there saying Herrick would like to see you.
She'll nod and gather her things to leave.
Me in the pantry.
Open the pantry, get your elf out.
She'll be going fully armed and armored.
Jolly good.
Quick. Just double checking. The obvious thing we got is the vial of lyrium.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there was also at least one document we grabbed and something else.
There was a copy of a valuable little book of porn, yes.
Right, yes.
And 1 second, pulling up the heist text file.
Yes, because I wrote this down, but then computer problems.
There we go.
I got delicious noble bone bits.
A valuable book of smut, a lyrium vial. It discreetly called Lord Renard.
All the things you did pretty okay with that one.
Yeah, I mean, he died. People weren't entirely sure who killed him. They know from where, but they don't know who.
And it was done in an obvious manner as they requested. So
yeah, I mean,
went about as well as that's going to go.
You cannot get more obvious than crossbow bolts to the back in the middle of a fucking courtyard.
Clearly assassinated, but they don't know by who.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in the debits column, we have that bottle of X-Lax that, well, I guess no one will be drinking that now, or if they do, they'll just get a bad surprise.
Oh no, Sarrebaas will be drinking it. We're gonna make sure.
No, you tossed it away under the table so that you weren't discovered with it.
Fair. Damn it, I need to go back.
To be fair, those are debits on our account, which is not important compared to what Herrick might do.
Yep. And that seems to be everything. So carry on.
I'm
Also
only
some
trying to get myself
information,
killed
though.
a little bit.
You are waiting for an uncomfortable amount of time. It's going to see you one at a time, so Sarrebaas ends up waiting the longest until everyone is gathered. And even when you were all together, you're just kind of shoved into chairs and told to wait. So you have a little bit of time to discuss and or panic amongst yourselves.
Question. Is Sarrebaas seated when she arrives, and how many other people are around watching them?
Seated.
Sarrebaas is pretty much never seated.
They say take a goddamn seat and give you the look that says take a goddamn seat. If you really want to argue it, they may or may not lay you down.
And I wouldn't, because I'm a stander.
He is still a Kunari.
They're not willing to fight you over it, so you get to stand. When push comes to shove.
Your seats are not comfortable. Your human seats are not comfortable for my people.
Do you think they care? It is lucky the orders not to brutally murderize you right now. Let's see. Okay, so he's standing when you get in there. Mogren is awake, but looks like he doesn't want to be. Probably seated.
Yes.
There's no guards that you can see anyway. You just see
Right.
that's it.
Valeria's not going to waste much time getting right up in his face. I actually don't know if she's short. She's most likely shorter than he is, because Kunari.
Everyone's shorter than he is.
Yeah, he's probably around 6'5", so...
Okay. So yeah, she has to straight up to look at him, but she doesn't really give a shit. What in the hells did you think you did?
I distracted the guards. You're welcome.
You killed an innocent man.
Huh?
If he had spent more time working out, he would have survived that.
I mean, it sounds stupid, but he's not wrong.
Yeah, I don't think she cares about that.
I know, I'm just saying.
Weren't we there to kill a guy and rob
Not
them?
him.
Oh. I guess that happened after the running then.
During.
Yeah, the guards had her surrounded, so I ran in and flapped walking bomb on somebody and ran off to distract them.
She the guest?
Trying to pull me off the body. They would have thought nothing of it.
Are we sure you're not the pyromaniac wizard on the loose?
Yes,
Huh.
Lindal's escaped to a parallel universe and made himself look like a Yunari.
We're done. I'm no longer working with you.
Any statement. The door to Herrick's office opens, and there's a shout of, "Get in here!"
Mogren's going to stumble in immediately as he's the one carrying things worth money.
It's just presumed he means all of you, but, respond as you like.
Rin will carry the shoulder of Mogren's that seems to keep on drooping because he's trying to fall over drunk.
Teeth for the leftover alcohol right now.
Yep.
He may or may not have a problem.
The problem is he's out of alcohol.
He's
That
a
is the problem,
surface
yes.
dwarf who hasn't got where he wants to be yet.
And I can't really argue that, so, alright, next, if anyone.
She'll turn away from Sarrebaas, just stalk inside.
Herrick is away you, or at least his back is. He's sort of shuffling through some things quietly and doesn't seem much to notice you, and just silence starts to draw in as he works.
Mogren knows better than to speak, so he won't.
Flair is still seething too much.
Assuming no one immediately speaks up, it does take a long, awkward silence before Herrick just sort of casually asks, "At what point did I tell you to kill someone?" I'm curious, because while I understand that, yes, occasionally you'll be jumped by men with sharp objects that you can't help but defend yourself against, I am just very, 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 very curious what made you decide, I'm going to go to a party full of nobles with connections to, obviously, at least one faction of this city, and I'm going to kill them and cause their families to enter a blood rage and swear eternal feuds and all that fun stuff. Because that sounds like a fun idea.
Boss?
Mm-hmm.
That would be my fault. Not the killing, that was someone else. The why is my fault.
A slowly lifted brow.
Well, someone up in the layaway district, another business dwarf, he found out that we were invited to Banro's estate, and kind of sort of told us that he'd help us if we got someone killed for it, and
And you accepted, of course.
well, we didn't exactly have a lot of barter material on hand. Please don't kill me.
And if I wanted you dead, it would be... You wouldn't see it coming.
If you were going to kill me, I wouldn't have woken up in here.
Yeah, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't have woken up at all. You forget I know where you live. It led best the Templars would be kicking down your door. Damn it.
So, yeah, one of the kills was planned, the other wasn't.
Upon one was not planned, which was that? The one where our friend here just walked up and murdered him, or the one we had to crossbow a motherfucker?
Crossbow was planned. That was me.
Noble walked up to by a currently being hunted by the Templars mage.
Mogren just shrugs, looks at Sarrebaas.
She was surrounded. I made a distraction.
You could have thrown a rock. Could have walked up and waved a sword. You could have set yourself on fire first, then done any of those things. What I'm trying to communicate here is, out of the many options of distraction, murder through magic is the one that gets the Templars pissed at you. Pissed at you means pissed at me. And by pissed at me means interrogating me and about 15 minutes away from kicking down your door. Well, 10 now. Depends on how long they're, willing to walk.
Boss.
Oh my fucking god, he is a blunt stick. Alright then. What we're going to do? He can't stay in this city. The Templars want you dead. I'm pretty sure they're blaming you for most of the burn down, like, crazy mage building things, which I don't think you're to blame for, but now I'm suspect.
Only one of them was me.
Yeah, see, that's not helpful. Here's what's going to happen. I've decided that you're more harm than help when it comes to city politics, Sarrebaas, and I need you to do the most basic job I know, and that's guard one of my caravans. Do consider this demotion, because it is. Because you've earned that demotion unless you turn out your pockets and have House Roa's entire fucking treasury in front of me. Carrying, because your pockets aren't that big. Speaking of, did you even steal anything? Because I don't see anything.
I proactively start searching Mogren's pockets.
Mogren will pull out the smut book and hold up the vial of lyrium in an obvious manner because it's a vial of lyrium.
Vial's interesting. What's with the book?
It's
a collector's item.
Why did you steal porn?
Because it's rare.
Congratulations, you've stolen rare porn.
Yeah, well, saw it, figured might as well grab it.
Well, it's worth silver, so I won't...
See, here's the thing. Do you know Ban Roa has a solid gold pipe organ?
Pardon?
Pipe organ. Solid gold.
When did she acquire and move a solid gold pipe organ?
I don't know. It was in a room in the mansion.
That would have been information useful to me. Well,
I imagine it's still there, because it's kind of hard to get into that mansion right now.
Isn't the issue. It's how she got it, and how she got it inside without anyone noticing. Those are two very interesting facts.
But
a bit late for any of that now, though, clearly. Still, the vial is...
I imagine most of her wealth might be tied up in that. There wasn't much hanging around that was obvious.
I would imagine so as well, but that's not very feasible.
I forgot. Didn't tell the others about this either. There was a corpse.
It's the ones you lot made.
Yeah. I need to make an out-of-character roll to see what Mogren remembers, because he didn't have very long to look at it.
That's fine.
Because sudden explosion.
Proactive perception check.
Where the hell are my stats gone? +1.
Oh, wow, that's rather impressive. Let's see, what don't you remember about this corpse? The corpse was no more than a few hours old when you saw it. Decay had not set in, and the pool of blood had only sort of dried. It was definitely a male. Wouldn't put it much older than 23, 26 about. Definitely a noble, judging from the cut of the dress and the way... the particulars of the hair. Disheveled because of the murder, but not disheveled because of poor.
Yes.
Death happened by back of head knife. Rammed a knife in the back of his skull. It didn't actually puncture the skull fully, but it got enough in there to where down he went.
Uh-huh.
It probably, to be completely honest, the knife blow probably didn't instantly kill him, but the bleeding out and the brain damage probably did within like seconds to minutes.
Mm-hmm.
What else? He was more or less in the center of the room. Judging from the way he fell, he was moved. The bloodstain is too wide and grand for anything else. He was definitely moved to that position. He probably died in one of the corners.
And what was the room? I remember it had a big circular rug, and I think there were statues around the room.
Yes, you're not sure what the room's purpose was. It seems just another one of those fancy noble passing rooms. It may not have had a direct purpose, but it was definitely enough of a distraction for him to be looking at something and then someone to have deliberately killed him. As to why the room was sealed off, it could have been this was done too close to the party. and there's no way to abscond with the body secretly.
Right. So Mogren will turn to Herrick. It was one of the, the Pops, the human noble people.
You did recognize the symbol upon the man was a, bird thing. You honestly haven't seen anything like it. It's some sort of bird thing.
Right, okay. He had some sort of bird for a crest, and he'd been stabbed in the back of the head. And then they moved him to the center of this big circular room with
How
statues.
recently did that man have died?
A few hours before the party, maybe.
And he was locked in a room that was inaccessible to the rest?
I don't know if it was locked, but I know I had to go in from the roof to see it.
No one else. Interesting. It's worth something.
Oh, by the way, those mansions are really easy to get into from the roof.
Not all of them are quite like hers, but it's nice to know you have an in.
Oh yeah, and her Babari's weird.
It's a Minabari. As long as your leg is not chewed off, I don't care. Actually, if your leg was chewed off, I'd probably laugh. Well, that is of use to me, I suppose. Still sending Sarrebaas and the rest of you off to the caravan. I need things settled here. I can't afford Sarrebaas to stay. If he stays, the Templars will find him and tear his horns off. And show them unpleasant places. Possibly in me.
I will not
You
travel
don't have
with
them,
him.
boss.
I don't think you have a choice. It's hard to explain this, but how does this help? You failed! And he thumps his, grand cane just sort of on the table rather loudly. Me, perhaps, a week's worth of your own pay in silver, give or take, depending on scenario situations. And you have cost me, due to your rampart murder and, again, lack of any bringing of any real funds, more or less 3 times your pay in a whole month between the burning out of my warehouse and what was inside and everything else that's happened. You think it's particularly easy to keep the Templars from noticing things? Outside of their employ is the sort of thing that winds up with me hanging from the gallows and all of you in some den somewhere having your flesh stripped from you. They'll strip back to time. And that's by no means what I'd be doing. No. I'd be dead. They'd be doing that because they're fucked in the head. Because the Templars, and then make him an apostate, and then screw us all.
Is that any different than what he'll be doing to me when he gets the urge to set something aflame?
I don't know, and frankly, that'd be your own problem. I'm sending you on a caravan of stuff that I fully expect to remain intact, and if it's not, I will send assassins until it is. Does that make sense?
Is the stuff particularly flammable?
It's in a wooden cart.
Buy some water sacks.
That sounds strangely wise. Sarrebaas.
I need to correct a disparaging remark against me. Noble on fire, I used walking bomb on him.
Don't think any of us care about the difference.
I don't even know the difference.
However, I would like to point out, Sarrebaas, the moment you leave this city, you're outside of my ability to intervene from that point on. Do something to draw your attention to yourself as a maid, and especially as an apostate. I cannot do anything if the Templars chop your head off, simply because you'll be outside my sphere of influence. Understood? You've gotten away with it so far because of my ability to smooth things over, and I'm not willing to keep paying for that, so you're off to prove yourself you're worth keeping on the payroll. So keep your head down, or learn to really fast, or the Templars will find and kill you. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if they're in pursuit of you when you leave this sodding city. This is why I'm sending the rest. The rest can either A, turn on you and immediately kill you, and I don't care, or B, keep you in line and protect you long enough for you to learn some restraint, or C, stand back and let the Templars do their job. Either way, no matter how this is cut, as long as my caravan is kept relatively intact, I'll be happy.
Just want to point out a character that if Herrick hadn't been protecting me for the last year, I would have learned this lesson already.
Don't point out his, redundancies. Phew.
Mogren's gonna speak up randomly.
Right,
Yeah, who the pyromaniac is?
Oh, yes, why?
It's not kind of convenient when you got one pyromaniac mage running around to possibly take attention off of this one.
Very, long shrug.
Mogren just
Honestly,
shrugs
that
back.
pyromaniac is so far being more subtle than ours. At least he's not been seen using magic.
I don't
Public,
think of
at
it.
least.
Besides a Templar being there, I don't even know if it was magic.
Not sure what you're referring to, but you have my incident. You have, prepare before I send you out of this city with the caravan. So if you have things to pack, I suggest you hurry.
Mogren
Maybe
will
the hell
check
out of my
himself
office.
over as he walks out of the office.
I'll probably have a backpack worth of minor personal belongings in my room at the Squid Ward.
Mm-hmm.
Mogren carries everything he owns on him at any given point.
Rin's a frail little elf, he can't do that.
Mighty dwarf!
He says that, but Rid has the higher strength score and has trained might, so I don't know what the fuck you guys are smoking.
Do that without losing his pretty status. What do you want from me?
Yes. If he sweats, the illusion is broken.
Fair enough. Does anyone have anything at their home they need to rush to go get? I will remind someone they bought a very expensive dress that they could at least try to resell.
No, she'll have to pack it.
It's probably worth more to resell somewhere else anyway.
You're
since
not
it was
wrong.
bought in Denerim.
Behold this expensive Daenerys outfit.
For
Once
assassination
before.
at all.
Don't mind the bloodstains. They're the style in Denerim.
Or the very slight stain of laxative wine.
She's leaving as quickly as possible to her home simply to not have to speak to him anymore.
Understandable. Well, presuming no one has anything to do in the last 30 minutes, did not know you where to go.
Kind of assuming
I-
more of Herrick's men are going to show up.
You're actually correct on that one. Within 2 minutes of the 30-minute mark, they are going to show up and drag you somewhere.
Dragging elf, thank you.
I mean, you, grab yourself by the collar.
It's a metaphor.
He's practiced at it. You are led to the outskirts of the city and shown the gates, and then thrown out of the gates if necessary. There's not much of a crowd at the gates at this time of day. Most people are already inside at the market. The market was crowded, but you weren't able to lose Herrick's men in that. So you're presented the gates and told on the other side of them there will be a caravan called the Lucky Fortune. And yes, they're aware it's a dumb name. It's
Better
not
than
their
the
choice.
unlucky fortune.
And that will be the one you're guarding. Now get the fuck out and don't come back.
Back.
They stab you with
Sarrebaas-
swords.
Sarrebaas turns around on the spot and just walks back to the city.
Swords are stabbed. Well, in this case, you're still inside the city. They're simply showing you the gates, which are, at the moment, only slightly open. Just ajar, but you have to kind of, wiggle through or ask someone to open it more.
I thought it was a gate.
Shush you.
A gate can be ajar.
Just who walks through the door, if anyone?
I guess walking bomb on the gate.
By the Templars.
Mogren will walk out.
Yeah, she's not bothering to look back or talk to anyone.
On the other side of the gate, it's very clear that finding the caravan might be a small issue because it's not the only one. And by the only one, I mean there's like almost 100 of the blasted carts and things all just parked out here in some sort of massive gypsy camp.
The second we get past the gate, I look at Rinleston and I say, "Mess you've gotten us into."
Him on the shoulder.
I got us into nothing. We just sort of were tucked into a dark pit where employment was offered and not given. He's sulking.
Someone sort of just interrupts with shame, and I presume you turn towards the voice.
I was joking. You're okay.
Person. Who is the person?
Well, the person who was casually interrupting you is a familiar dwarf. Old, weathered, and he's scowling, but at the same time he's grinning, if that's at all possible. Like, his default face is clearly scowling all the time, but he looks pleased about something.
Hi, Garazin.
Wrong dwarf. He's not as old. This is an old, scowly, and grumpy dwarf. Who you'd recognize, but you probably need a roll to recognize this guy, honestly. It's been a while.
Is it the man who set... Is it the one who set up us the bomb?
Bingo! You got it on the first try.
Yeah, I thought that was it.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't rolling, because she hasn't ever met this person.
Yep.
Neither has Mogren, actually. I don't know why I rolled.
I was letting everyone roll for the sake of. Rinlishin, since you've recognized immediately, that's him.
It'd be more of a mystery if we'd met more than one dwarf.
You have.
Herrick is a dwarf.
Okay, yes, but he's not gonna be here.
It's Mogren's twin.
No. I thought I killed you.
Anyways, I try to ascend up out of my slump and pout, and oh, hello. How was the revenge?
Sweet, but a little bitter. How is exile treating you?
We haven't gotten started yet.
It's not the first time.
Wow.
Oh, is this the guy?
Don't shoot him. He has connections.
I would not suggest doing that. No.
My cat's walking along.
Hey, he got his lyrium. That's cool.
You can call me Rourke, and I'm here to congratulate you on both murdering the target I told you to, and in killing another noble quit that just happened to be nearby. That was funny. Can't be associated with you in any way, shape, or form, nor can I do anything to help you at all. But I could accidentally lose this, and then he just sort of points behind him at a small, it's a cart with no horse, and it wouldn't carry more than like half a person, but in it seems to be wrapped in leathers some pile of things. Sticks, maybe.
Moment if you
I'm
know
just
what
going
it
to
is.
accidentally forget to pay attention to this and, be on me way. Good work with all that killing.
I walk
Lincoln.
over and strap myself in as the cart's mule.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to keep the
What?
cart, that's one way to do it. Already
Mogren
walking
will-
off, amused.
Mogren will grin before he gets too far away, and it's like, it's nice to have my aim appreciated.
And with this worthless lot, you know the Carta. And he's gone.
Who have you gotten us involved with?
It's the Carta.
He just said the Carta.
They are who they are.
Oh,
The
Carter. I
extremely
thought you were
famous
referring to
group
the
of smuggled
Scarlet.
dwarves who smuggle lyrium and murder people.
Well, as long as they do what they want.
And they make carts.
Smoker's
Speaking of
gonna,
carts,
Smoker's gonna go over and look in the cart.
well, there's a bundle of leathers, fairly bulky. You presume something is inside.
Mogren
I'm
will
guessing
start pulling
5
away
parts
leathers.
of the body.
Funny if he showed you parts of the body and said, good luck hiding this, suckers. No. inside is... It's checking. Brought swords. They just look extremely high quality. Let's see. Bow of similar make. Oh, it's 3 swords. Okay, so it is 3 swords of what look like extremely high quality and 1 crossbow of similar quality. They seem to be, at least in the case of the swords, they're not made of regular iron. You think this might be red steel. Which, in the case of, for those not familiar with the setting, there are several metals used in the creation of, well, armor and swords and whatnot. Iron, pig iron, that sort of thing, is generally considered the lowest. Just kind of the most basic crap. Steel is a step above. Red steel is a step further above. It's used of a very particular mineral and forced a very particular way. It's rather rare, not quite as rare as some other materials, and very solid. This is the sort of thing you'd give, say, the more experienced members of an army. And there are 3 swords made of the stuff. As to the crossbow, crossbows themselves aren't extremely common, and this one is definitely of dwarf make, so that makes it a definite couple steps above, say, the human make one you've been waggling around over.
Dwarf bow! Yes! Finally!
And by not common, in all of the games there is one.
Hush you.
Bianca, right?
Did not get Bianca. And Bianca's way bigger than this bow, crossbow number 1.
Oh yeah, Bianca's huge.
And you would not want to... I don't even know how he manages to lift that fucker, but that's another story.
How does this work mechanically?
Mechanically, in your case, Moverin, the crossbow has a 1 to hit, like beyond normal, and the swords all have 1 to damage.
So they're plus ones.
Well, sort of. It's not the same thing as it is in D&D. In D&D, in this game, it's separated out. They can do 1 to damage or 1 to hit, or both. Yeah. In this case, yours just does 1 to hit, and theirs just do 1 to damage.
You know, you can't just say sword in this system.
Mm-hmm. Fine. It's a... well, what system do they use for this? Well, it's definitely a 1-handed sword, I'll tell you that right now. I don't think it gave you anything bigger than a hand and a half. I'll see if I can find the specific, because I just rolled on a table.
He gave us a pile of sword stars, as in fill in the detail.
So that's sword axe for Limlishan.
Sure, sword axe. No, I rolled swords, it just didn't specify.
Oh yeah, because swords are split between the dueling group, the heavy blades group, the light blades group.
That's the heavy blade. Yeah, they're like long swords, so they're heavy blades.
Of course, now you have to ask which among that group are they?
They're literally long swords. Like that was easy. They're just long swords made of red steel.
So, what are the longsword stats?
2d6, based on strength. Minimum strength required is 1.
Literally the same as what I'm using.
Well, yeah, but they have a +1 because they're red steel.
But
they're also
Sword
worth
already
a lot
has
of
a
money.
+1.
Well, worth a lot of money relative to what money you have.
Literally, they're just a bastard sword. A regular bastard sword.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The equipment in this game doesn't mean shit.
Yep.
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 Is it at least an upgrade for Rinlishan?
He can't use them.
Technically speaking, it is still a 2d6 +1, and it has a +1 to hit, so that's technically an upgrade.
Aha!
And technically, I get to choose an additional weapon group at my next level.
Yeah, might as well
Wait,
take them.
sorry. Does the crossbow give +1 to damage as well? You just said 2d6
Nope.
+1.
Yeah, but 2d6 +1 is its base because it's crossbow.
Do you mean 2d6 plus perception?
No. Bows group, dexterity, crossbow, 2d6 +1. It's base. Damage. I know, 2d6 +1 is the damage on a crossbow with no additional modifiers, but you get your perception modifier to damage like normal, and it has a +1 to hit beyond your normal additions to hit. It's a really good crossbow.
All right.
It was almost a throwing axe. That's another story. I will point out that if you're not satisfied with your swords, you can always sell them. Like I said, like a red steel sword will most likely buy you like 3 of a different kind of sword.
Yep.
I can only use clubs, morning stars, and quarterstaffs.
As I said, yeah, if you're going to barter them off, this isn't a terrible place to do it, and probably only part on the road, you'd do it easily.
Well, I could get brass knuckles, but they're useless in this system, so...
I'm just going to write down on my sheet a 1 red steel longsword that I can't use until I can barter it off.
Well, I mean, if
You're
they're
free
going
to
to
attempt to barter off here, is what I'm trying to say, because there is a
because this is a
gypsy
merchant
camp of
area.
sorts.
Mm.
There's a lot of caravans and people like ready to move into the city to do market shit. So this would be a good opportunity to do so, because on the road you're probably not going to have one.
We should barter them off and buy a whole bunch of rags and lighters.
No.
You have quite the impressive pile of rags. He's not wrong.
Really, rags and a lighter.
It's a whole bunch of caravans just camped outside
Like a
the road
gypsy
outside.
camp. Yep.
Gotcha.
It's a little unusual, but then again,
Yeah, and these are all traveling merchants, so...
Guess everyone who can't afford the market fee for the inside the city walls one too.
very likely.
Remember, everybody, a pair of dice costs as much as a crossbow. I don't think they thought much of real world,
Not even a little.
in-world pricing when they came up with these prices.
Considering you can make dice from just about any old bones, yeah.
As I said, not even a little. So,
Mm-hmm.
Playing cards cost 1.5 times what a crossbow does.
okay, we get it. So, what are you doing?
I'm buying
Valeria's
players
not.
so I can be a rich man.
Valeria's not fucking doing any of this 'cause she doesn't want anything to do with this money. So she's gonna just go off and try to find their stupid caravan.
Do you at least take the longsword in question that clearly has your name on it, or left over?
No, I don't think you understand. Mechanically, it literally does nothing for me.
I know. I was just curious whether or not
Yeah,
you took
so
it at all.
she's not touching it.
Yeah, I did not take this stuff as direct upgrades for you guys. I rolled to see what loot you you had upgrades inside the fucking mansion. You didn't get them.
I suspect what Kaylee means is she's not touching this cart full of blood money.
Yeah.
Fair enough. There's a spare sword, so if anyone's interested in that.
And I have the cart, so we can sell this off too.
Valeria.
Logan's got a crossbow, so he's totally fucking happy. If anyone wants to sell shit, they can go do that. He got a better crossbow.
What kind of roll is this? It's a gather information roll, which exists in the system. I'm trying to remember what it was under.
Communication.
Yeah, communication. You're right. Communication roll then.
+1.
You wandering for a bit because there's quite a few, and what's funny, the name you give is technically wrong. The translation is poor. It's actually an Elvish named caravan, which is odd.
She won't mind wandering alone.
All right.
You're just mad at me in character, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
The rest of you do. Mogren, Rindlish, and Sarrebaas.
Well, assuming that one of the other two is going to be trying to get rid of the swords that they don't want to just carry around, because Mogren certainly doesn't fucking need it. He'll wait to see if they need him to help sell swords. Maybe they want bullshit as a dwarf, like, this is made with the finest dwarf steel.
Barter, selling, is that communication or cunning?
A little of option A, a little of option B. Its communication is where it's set under for focuses.
Okay. Rin makes known that that's not exactly his forte.
Sadly, mine either.
This whole group sucks at communication.
No, they don't.
Okay, sorry. This whole group that is not honorable and bound to their nightly code sucks at communication.
Yeah.
I have a 1 in it.
Feel free to use your ones to try and do things.
In that case, Rin will, take 2 of the swords from that cart, strap them to his back so that they can be semi-presented, so that he can, look serious and be treated serious.
Okay, you're immediately asked if you're a witcher and you could slay the Manticore for him. By the local peasants.
And he runs screaming in the opposite direction. No. He
What's a witcher?
starts wandering in the same general direction Valyria just went, and tries to keep an eye open for, people who look like they barter in weaponry.
And I am pulling the cart and following him.
Mogul will also follow, checking if his teeth hold any unforeseen pockets of alcohol.
No, you're an expert at this. You got all the alcohol out within the first half minute.
Yeah, but my subconscious is getting better at hiding them.
Right. Feel free to roll a communication.
I will also roll communication for looking around.
Okay.
+1.
Logren, you've espied at least 3 different men, all selling various types of weaponry and armor. Strong word. It's more getting themselves set up and looking over their stock before very likely heading to the main city eventually.
Mogren will pick one and jab it Rinshin on the lower leg.
You're racist. You pick the dwarf rather than the elf, naturally.
Well, yeah, they know what's good metal.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what? Oh,
Because you poked him with an arrow, his leg is now bleeding.
Yeah, he's an elf. If I poked him with a finger, it'd do that.
He says poking the elf was higher strength score and con score.
+0, so I don't know what you're on about.
I don't know if Mogren's any better, actually.
No, it's +1, because he's a dwarf.
Ah, god jolly good. Never mind.
I mean,
you
it's a
walked
dwarf.
earlier.
These are tough.
You towards a actually rather youthful looking dwarf. This could be the apprentice and is just going over the materials, but he is going over supplies of weapons. They look passable.
What ho?
If you're here for your master, you're not allowed to touch the goods. We don't do that anymore.
Mogren
After the
will
last
also
3 of you
approach.
knife ears ran off with our goods, we're just not allowed it. Your caravan's over there. And just sort of flops a hand in a direction.
No, we got a thing you might want.
Business.
Uh-huh.
A moment.
Behold this magnificent cart I'm trying to sell.
Scampers around, shouts for someone, and then another dwarf, this one a little older looking, stomps forward and goes, business? Between you lot? Sort of business.
Before anything else, Mogren is going to stop playing up the alcohol a bit, because there's no way he's as drunk as he is with how inured he is to the stuff by now.
Mm-hmm.
And look over this guy to see if he has anything possibly linking him to the Carta. I don't care. It's kind of rude to turn around and sell them back to the same people immediately.
Lol. You do need, you're looking at him, so that's perception.
+1, not the best.
No obvious signs that they'd be with the Carta. Even the signs you know to look for kind of thing, they're not there. It's unlikely these two are associated.
Swords made of red steel.
And I got this cart.
Interested in no cart, but red steel, that's fine stuff.
I'm selling
Barter,
the cart for
then?
1 silver piece.
Again, don't care about the cart. Barter, right? What you want for a sword, then? We've got just about every sharp, pointy thing you can think of.
Mogren just shrugs and looks at Rinlishin because he doesn't give a shit about bladed weaponry.
She's got this lovely two-handed maul.
I think he's more the rapier type.
What makes you say that? Just looks at the elf, blankly, uncomprehending the racism.
Paul, my battle axe. Well, I was hoping for something with a bit more oomph than this.
You want something bigger than that? Well, I got one thing. I don't know if you can afford it, but alright. Give me a moment.
You're about to be given the axe equivalent of the Buster Sword.
Kind of is, yeah. I should have a picture for this, so 1 second.
The axe is twice as big as you are.
In width.
This is really good because it's on an elf, so you can actually see precisely how nonsense this is.
Oh dear.
Let's put this in the Mumble chat.
Yeah, it's easier to get at in the... Yeah.
The what?
Yeah, it is much easier for me to get at in the MapTools chat because I've currently got the Mumble chat minimized and a couple other things.
Oh, there you go then.
Thank you.
That elf looks familiar.
I know that axe.
Well, of course you would know that axe. It's Dwarven Great Axe. It's just, that's the model for it.
Well, no, I mean, I know that axe literally.
Ah, well, there you are then.
Eternally.
Biblically.
Would that to be the two-handed axe listed on
Yes,
page
that there would be the two-handed axe.
78.
Okay, so here's what happens. The dwarf shuffles around underneath his cart, weirdly enough, before thumping this monster on the table. And yet he does have a table set out. That's how they're going through most of their stuff. It clanks against the other, mostly wrapped weapons rather loudly. You can obviously see its size. And judging from the sheen of the thing, it's not made of like iron or steel. It's made of something else. He paps it with a hand and goes, I managed to swindle this off noble who didn't know what he had, but I know what I have. This here is a silverite weapon, eh?
Oh.
Somebody, you got some guard.
Lel. For purposes of those who don't understand the setting, which again is just you, or Rinlishin, silverite is many steps up on the list of good materials. In fact, it's so high on the list, there's really only dragon bone from a high dragon that is considered a more powerful material to work with. This is the sort of thing that you wouldn't be surprised to be hanging in some like noble's house as like a fucking
Family heirloom.
Yeah, from like a great war, and he like slew dragons for a living kind of thing.
It is less impressive to dwarves, but...
Different, but, as things go.
And feeling bad for the noble or laughing?
Go with laughing. He deserved it.
Alright.
From a
Probably the one I blew up.
From a purely out of character perspective, what is it that I'm looking at here?
Well, it is a axe with a +2 to damage and hit. A great axe, the two-handed one.
And a min strength of?
It's silverite, so it doesn't adjust. Min strength of 3.
Yeah, I won't be able to hit that for 2 whole levels. Not until the next even numbered.
Not my problem. I'm just saying he has the... You said give me a bigger version. There's the biggest one he's got.
So when you say +2, it's 3d6 +2 plus my stat?
Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, having a +2 in both to hit and damage is insane. Like I said, silverite.
So you're saying you're willing to let this go for 2 of these red steel swords?
Try 3, maybe 4.
And this cart.
I don't want the fucking cart!
Well, we got 3. I mean... She didn't seem like she was willing to take anything. We might get off of selling these.
And the cart.
Why do you want to sell the cart so much?
Because I didn't want to leave it there, but I don't feel like dragging it around.
We'll find someone else to sell the cart to. I'm sure it will make some donkey very happy.
We got 3 red steel swords.
Hee-haw.
So are you going to...
2 red steel swords and my old battle axe?
Your old battle axe being made of what?
We're gonna look at it.
It's made of wood.
It would be made of gray iron, if you're curious, which is a little better than the normal pig iron, but not quite as good as steel.
It's not pig iron.
Toss that and 3 of your red steels, and you got it.
I look to the other 2 for approval.
No one else is gonna use those red steel swords.
I can't use a sword.
I present him his swords.
He smiles, nods his head, and trades you the fucking axe. You now have a enormous, extremely heavy axe made of silverite, finely honed and crafted. It's honestly of better make than the red steels could ever hope to be. The material on the red steel swords was very sound, but in terms of like skill used in making the swords, it was just very blunt and simple. It's sort of, like I said, the sort of thing you just give experienced soldiers. This thing looks like it was forged by a dwarf. Like, this is a very finely wrought weapon made of a very rare and powerful material.
Here's a question.
The sort of thing you'd hang up in your room because it slew dragons back in the day.
Sorry, did you say forged by a dwarf or forged out a dwarf?
Both.
Could be both.
If you try to wield a weapon that you don't have the strength.
You take penalties.
I think you just can't. I don't know if there's any...
No, you can. Okay, but it deals less damage. Even with the less damage, it's still... Well, actually,
1d6 and -1 damage is what it'll deal.
It's a downgrade right now.
It's
well,
okay.
that's not including the fineness of it, so I think this thing will be doing a 1d6 plus 1 damage.
Yeah, that... I still have a maul trained in... Bow.
Fair enough. Makes it fine.
My battle axe was in no way my only weapon.
And as soon as you have strength 3, it's gonna be ridiculous.
Donkey to pawn this card off onto.
Don't have any money.
Someone does want to buy your cart for a silver.
Get 1 silver.
Yes, you do.
Ogren's
so
now
just
going to
marking
march
off the
off
swords
and...
is gone, and Rendlesham has the... Well, he didn't say it had a name. Would you like to name it? Normally these sort of things would have names. They're that good.
I dubbed the Blood Money.
Blood money it is. Surprised you kind of got this. This was sort of a long-term investment option, so hey, works. Blood money acquired. The Silverite Dwarven War Axe. Also known as the humongous lump of metal on a stick.
You swing it at someone, and their head caves in.
And their torso, and their legs, and, you know.
Then you watch them whip. Watch them nay-nay.
Valyria.
Mm-hmm.
You found the cart. Well, by all accounts, the cart... Caravan. Well, the caravan is a strong word. It's more like a cart. It's a really nice cart. The only pickle is there's a reason it's not very close. It's actually rather separate from most of the caravans and carts and things, because it's not really selling anything. It is carrying supplies, though. For Aldery, because you're training it, that's a Dalish cart. Or at least it's going to the Dalish. And to inform you what the Dalish are, the Dalish elves are the elves kind of still desperately holding on to what history they still have remaining, and make their living as a combination gypsy traders / crazy warrior bandits who murder anyone who's not an elf. You're kind of hoping this is not going to the crazy ones.
Will be.
It probably will be, yes. And to be fair, the caravan itself isn't immediately Dalish in look. It simply has the markings that would let a Dalish recognize, don't shoot this.
Anyone else there?
There is an elf who is in charge of it, apparently. She does have the tattoos of a Dalish elf, and she's just kind of glaring daggers at anyone who gets within bow range, so it's actually rather impressive how much she can glare at the entirety of everyone. Kinda. The elf has noticed you, she just chose not to say anything.
Mm-hmm. Valeria will approach because why the fuck not?
Then let's call it rock throw range. She finally addresses you. I'm presuming you're here to guard.
I am.
A good luck. She jumps off and walks away.
This gets better.
When she's thoroughly away and lost in the crowd, you realize you have no idea where to bring this thing.
Yeah, well, that's what she's going to go check the goods for.
Well, you check what the caravan carries. It has 2 horses to pull. It's more of a cartish... what's the word I'm looking for here? It's got a top, so what's the term here? Sort of thing nobles ride in. Carriage, that's the word. It's more of a carriage than a cart. It is loaded down with what looks like food and smells like food. Yeah, that's food mostly. Seems to mostly be food, some like ores. And by ore, I mean like metal.
Eat the food.
Sorry, I just got to talk to someone. Anyway, what was I? Ores and like metal ores, unworked. Judging from the look, you don't really know minerals very well, but none of it gleams like gold, so... Food, lots of food, and some lumber. This just looks like basic supplies. You could go literally anywhere.
How big a carriage is this?
It takes 2 horses to pull it.
Yeah,
so it's enough to fit like...
carriage.
I know. It takes about... If it was a person carriage, let's say, it would carry 6 people.
I'm guessing it's all just shoved inside there.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Well, it's stacked, but...
So push this in until it fits.
One overstuffed cargo carriage.
More or less.
And no instructions on where to take it?
Well, good. That means we take
It's
it.
presumed you might have asked the elf about it, because the elf must have assumed you knew. Long gone now.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some way to tell. Mogren's now looking for her, by the way.
Let's ride this cart to Winter.
Mogren.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, that'd be kind of bad for everyone involved. Mogren, you spy what you think is a Dalish elf just kind of thrifting her way through the crowd. The reason you notice her especially is because the crowd kind of parts for her. Other than that bit of oddity, you think you see Valeria a bit in the distance.
She's got class levels in Noble Scion.
Can I see anything about the cart that Valeria's at?
Valeria seems to have her head halfway stuck inside of what looks like some sort of heavy carriage, and you can kind of sense her dissatisfaction with it.
Is the elf walking away from that general direction?
Yes.
I'm gonna go over to the elf.
She pauses and goes, Dwarf?
Are you from that carriage over there?
Not anymore, thankfully.
Do you know where it's going?
From what I could tell, it's either heading to Orzammar or the forest south of here. If you get my meaning.
Yeah, I'm with the armored lady over there.
You're part of that. Well, then you would know better than I where it's going.
We don't, actually.
What do you mean you don't know where it's...
No one
Look,
knows where it's going.
our boss isn't exactly happy with us.
Oh. Well, that's amusing. Very well. From what I understand, it was supposed to go to Ozermar, but considering what the road is like there, they might need to swing along the longer route. And have to settle for lesser coin.
Alright. Thanks a bunch.
You're welcome. Try not to get eaten. Leaves.
I guess walking bomb on her. No.
Ozermar, which is the capital and only known, commonly known, place of the dwarves. It's where they all come from. Now you're just fucking with me.
It is kind of funny how that turned out.
Yeah, I don't know why.
What do you mean?
The two of those are all by orcs also, so it's doubly weird.
It's the only dwarven city in Ferelden, anyway.
Yeah, there is technically one other.
It's not common knowledge and wouldn't matter if it was. So that's the apparent direction it was going, but plans may have changed to go south instead, so details are...
Let's search the caravan for any sort of... Well, maybe not documentation. I doubt that we'll have anything so nice, but maybe just a list of... Maybe just a sales manifest of where it's been, so that we know where not to go.
Leo, you're rooting about when your... I'm not going to call them friends, allies return, and they've returned with an axe roughly as big as you are, at least in the torso area. They may or may not be trying to murder you, or put you to execution. It's hard to tell with that fucking monster.
Mogren waves.
Did you just call her torso as big as the axe is tall?
No, I mean at least the broad part of the axe is as big as your torso. Probably bigger. Depends.
From the size of the axe being larger than people's shoulders, you are definitely calling her fat.
Maybe.
Fantastic.
She's
Don't
not
fat
fat.
shame fictional characters.
I wasn't shaming. I was stating the fact. I don't know how she's built, damn it. I just know this axe is ridiculous.
Oh, other than being, wearing plate armor whenever she can. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
totally out of shape.
She is pretty built at this point, I think.
That axe isn't that big on her, looking at her picture, unless she's 7 feet tall.
I'm just saying, big axe.
Yeah,
You're a
it's
big
it's
person.
a big axe. Mogren's gonna keep waving until Valyria acknowledges him.
Your arm is growing tired.
I don't know, maybe she is 7 feet tall. I'm not tall shaming.
He's a dwarf. He will tolerate it.
Alright, well, Mogren is spazzing his arm at you really insistently, Valyria.
Isn't a dwarf more of a shorter rating it?
Rude.
They have a dwarf? I thought he was a rat folk.
Also rude.
He's too bald to be a rat folk.
Renlishin, save the day, please. Because this dwarf is not going to stop waving his arm. And Valyria is apparently intent on not recognizing him.
I lead the way in that direction.
We've approached.
Alright, you're all at the cart. And I'm going to guess at least one of you is going to search the thing for that particular bit of paper Renlishin wanted.
Well, that I, out of character, suggested we find.
Well, does anyone search the starting cart beyond just looking at it?
I helped
What
take
the
inventory.
heck
She
did I
just-
just do?
Yeah,
You didn't root through anything. You looked at it.
she wanted to search the cart.
Oh, you want to
Yeah,
stick your hands in there?
Yeah,
I assumed there was
Yeah.
nothing to
I was
find
looking.
because
I was looking.
Oh,
she's
then
looking
roll.
for directions on where to go.
Oh, that's
So
what
she's
you
not
were
gonna
doing.
just glance in there and go and then just sit around.
I didn't know that. Roll.
She pulled her eyes out and threw them in.
Can I get a roll from everyone else as well to help her, presumably a few minutes after?
I'm
Sure.
just standing.
Alright, from what I can gather... Okay, you managed to piece together... How to put this? They didn't use much in the way of slips of paper to, like the idea of a receipt doesn't exactly exist yet. And whoever was selling things last must have either kept it on them or just not done it at all, a list of what was sold. However, you do have some good news. There are some very obviously missing tidbits, like there's places where there would have been more of this or that. And better news, you do find at least one letter describing, what the weather was like south of here. So this caravan must have been in the south before coming here in order to carry a letter of bitching about, like, the rain, for example.
You said that there's a good amount of food in this cart. Is it travel rations or is it trade food?
Trade food. We're talking spices and particulars of dried cuts of meat and such like things. That's not going to last forever, but it is worth more money.
Okay. Could we get Denerim out of the way so that we can see the region map then?
Yep. I just need to move all these little labels.
Move them if you can move the map itself.
Okay, so the alien
Hey,
is
we're at Orzammar.
Sweet.
Oh, that's quick.
We made it quick. Good adventure, guys.
Uh-huh.
I say
We've
we go
discovered
for
teleportation.
I say we go free of the circle mages.
Depends on how long you take. They might have handled that by now. Regardless, you are currently in Denerim, and from what you understand, according to at least this bit of paper bitching about the rain, it has come from the south, which would mean it took the King's Road that away. Or, for all you know, said fuck the King's Road and straight through the goddamn forest.
Which is suicide for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Then again, this does have the markings of, or at least the correct markings to not get shot at of a Dalish caravan. So it's not impossible, but since none of you are elves outside of Rinlishan, you'd still be shot anyway if they saw you and no pointy ears and all that.
Is withering a really, really bad idea?
Well, the Blight's been over for a bit, so it's not in the best of conditions. It wouldn't be worth going to for the sake of selling, but...
I thought we were before the Blight.
Nope, you are after the Blight.
So who's king?
Good question. Even fucking know.
Considering the king lives in Denerim.
Fine, Valyria would know. Fuck me, what's his name again?
Is it Alistair?
Yes, name.
Oh.
Okay, good ending.
Who's queen is the real question.
The proper one.
Did Honora get hung?
That's how he got into the position. Become king as if he marries into it.
No.
If you're playing a female, you can marry into the queen position yourself.
Well, okay, fine. The warning commander is not queen. Does that help?
Yes. Also, he can become king without Honora being involved at all.
Yeah,
I found that route, but nice to know.
I like to execute Honora.
And him rule jointly currently, so. Not using her. Alright.
At least it's not
Because he has more of a claim to the throne than she does, because he's the descendant of King Theron.
Right, you're right, he does. I just didn't do that because I didn't want to cause a huge fucking civil war, but yeah, fair enough.
I hate Honora, so I usually execute her.
Hey, fair enough. Your Dragon Age is your Dragon Age. In this Dragon Age, though, for the sake of maintaining a stable Ferelden, he and her married.
He's probably miserable.
And he kept the warden. He kept the warden on as a side piece.
The male
what the
warden
warden commander is.
By the way, that is a thing you can do in the game, is have him keep you as a side piece after he marries Honora.
Uh-huh. No warden, they can be the mistress.
So,
Hooray, options.
you say it has been at some to
Southernwards,
Orzammar.
It's going to Orzammar is the
And
theory.
it's come from the south.
Yes. Cillian Forest directly, or along the King's Road southern-wise. It's a little in the air.
Well, that basically means we should go north.
Set our eyes on yon purple hills.
The elf in question did warn that there might be trouble on the North Road, and it might want to go south instead. You don't have any other evidence other than what she said, but there is that.
Okay, then we're going south.
Well,
The ocean in a carriage.
sure we can. Big pontoons.
No,
Mogren, by the way, the entire time they're searching about this, is going to be grumbling about Orzammar. Because fuck Orzammar.
And Orzammar says fuck you too back.
Yep, surface dwarf, they hate me.
Let's go to Highever and dump the stuff off on the Rodents.
You want.
I'm a castless who went to the surface. I'm persona non grata.
Well, once you go
Let's
to
put
the
it this way,
surface,
if you go inside their fucking city, as you are, they're gonna set you on fire.
I can laugh at them from outside the city, though. They're not allowed to step outside. If they
This is
see
true.
the sun, they're exiled.
This is actually true. And yes, it is very odd, but that's just how it is.
Wait, what about the people who are guarding the door?
They have to stand
There.
inside.
Yeah. With the door.
But in the game, when you get there, there's a guy standing outside guarding the door.
Yeah, I imagine that was a bit of a retcon.
That or he had permissions or some
Yeah,
weird crap. Or
that
just couldn't
or
see the
he-
sun from his position, honestly.
Yeah, there's that, or he could have been a surface dwarf, and who is the one they tolerate because they need someone to actually guard the door.
Yeah. Any combination of those reasons. Honestly, the easiest reason is he just can't see the sun from his position. It wouldn't be very hard to do
I think
that.
technically they have to be able to see the sky.
Yeah. You get out to C8, there's enough of an overhang. Regardless.
I knew something about Purple Hills in conjunction with Amaranthine, but
I didn't get it at all. So, you have your caravan cart thing. You have 2 horses, some supply, and a direction. It's presumed that he doesn't want you back in his city until the cart is empty, and you have made it at least to Orzammar. You could go further into God, it's hard to remember all these names sometimes.
Let's take this thing all the way to Halamshire.
Legions.
yeah, let's go visit Orlais. That'd be great.
If you want, bring your masks.
Luckily, I have this golden one.
I will point out that the northern, whatever troubles may exist on there, the northern King's Road is going to be much faster to reach Orzammar than the southern one.
Mm-hmm.
Northern one like idiots.
I have all of the world knowledge that Rin does.
Honestly, it
If someone
depends on
shows
whether
me-
Mogren tells us about the
Yeah,
information.
yeah. Once they search and presumably didn't find directions.
No, I mean about that we should go south rather than north.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm getting to.
Okay, fine.
I'm assuming the north is filled with zombies.
Do they find directions?
Beyond that piece of paper telling you that the weather southwards is crap. No.
This cart has been somewhere south of here sometime between when that letter was written and, well, now. Who knows when it was written?
So that elf lady I talked to said the road up north is bad and the weather down south is bad and we're going to fucking Orzammar. Just everyone's got a statue of the Paragons. Just you go snap its head off in front of them and make me laugh.
Be to set out overland over the Banorn.
Well, it's not impossible, but it is discouraged for a number of reasons. One, a lot of it is wild land, so there's just going to be forests, open plains,
you
evil
can
bears.
stop. You can stop there because I'm literally just putting that out there so that someone can browbeat Rin with, "God damn it, this is a trading caravan. We don't set out across the wilderness."
Not to mention, I don't want to deal with a bunch of pissy nobles complaining about trespassing.
There's that, yeah, also. The parts that are civilized are owned by random nobles.
To the Kokari Wilds.
Why?
What's possible you could do, even though the elf doesn't know this, is you could technically basically hop, skip, jump from civilized noble spot to civilized noble spot with minimum wild in between them. But that would presume you're willing to pay the most likely absurd taxes or whatever they charge you for going through their lands of the various nobles. But outside of the small skips through wilderness, if you took that route, it's off the King's Road. It would be very extremely fast because no one else would be taking it. And assuming you don't get scalped by the various nobles that would charge you for traipsing through their lands, well, could be worse. It'd be safe. There would be guards the whole way. Again, minus those little skips through the wild.
Yeah, let's go along the northern road.
I think what we need to know is also, what is an average travel time for this?
He would know. Unfortunately, it's not very clear. Put it this way. You know for a fact it's not going to take you longer than a week to get from Denerim to Orzammar. What you take, unless you drag your heels and get stuck in the mud for 24 hours every day, it should just take you a week unless you, let's put it this way.
It would take you a week of travel on the roads, assuming you make camps and don't get murdered in your sleep.
Mm-hmm. Taking the north road. Taking the south road, add about 2 days to that.
Okay, I got a super serious question. We just take the Zeppelins.
Because, unfortunately, Denerim will not rent you a Zeppelin. Zeppelins on top of that.
Warcraft references.
Yes, we're not going to Orgrimmar. We're going to Orzammar.
To visit the Orser.
Oh God! They don't want
visiting the dwarves. How would you like to get there? Walking, or walking?
Art.
All right. Well, that means you're in charge of the horses. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm short. You cloudheads can walk.
Your choices currently are Southern Kings Road, Northern Kings Road, or hop-skipping through the Bannorn directly by going through various nobles' territories and hoping they don't overcharge you for doing so.
So which is worse, unspecified bad roads and faster, or unspecified bad weather and slower?
Faster.
Late summer, early fall.
Faster. Worth.
I guess we're going north then.
It's fairly easy to turn north and start walking. I mean, there's a road.
There's a road, we start moving, and we're good.
To the point where Denerim is not much more than a blot in the distance. Before there's rather enough commotion to where you can still, you can actually see the commotion happening, even though Denerim is mostly a blot. Something's going on down there in the gypsy camp.
Back at Denerim?
Mm-hmm. Enough of something is going on that you can kind of see, motion.
Hold on. Could I get a general overview of what the terrain around here is? Or are you talking we can see smoke rising over the trees, or this is open plains and we can kind of see there's lots of milling
the direction
about?
North of Denerim requires you to go up a series of hills. You're basically on the first hill, so at least 3 miles out, and you're up essentially. So you're able to, if you were to look behind you, you'd see Denerim splayed out before you, but since it's in a distance, it'd be a bit blurry in distance, and you can still kind of see the dark smudge that is the gypsy camp, sort of smudging around and smoke rising. It's moving enough to be seen from this distance, so it's enough of a commotion to be quite extreme.
Well, I guess we made it ahead of those Templar that are looking for you, Sarrebaas.
Yeah, maybe you should get in the cart.
Get in the cart.
It smells like horse. Right.
The food that's all inside the cart smells like horse?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
By the way, it's worth of travel rations. You guys?
Mm-hmm.
I believe I have similar, yeah.
Okay. Nevertheless, we should probably, after the first day or so, consider foraging / hunt along the way, assuming that, so that we don't run our held rations too low. Just a future thing.
Mm-hmm. Walking, because don't pay any attention to the Templars. Oh God.
It's not like we're going back to find out what's happening.
Nope.
Sure enough. All I need to know is during the days of travel is whether or not you push, go as fast as you can, whether you take it leisurely, go normal speed, and when do you camp? At sunset or earlier or later?
If Valeria has anything to say of it, she's going to try to make this as fast as possible.
I say
Mogren's
that
kind of the same way because he doesn't want to be in Orzammar for any longer than is strictly necessary.
I
So you're
think how
going as
hard
fast as the caravan can go reasonably.
Without
And
making
when-
the horses die.
Yeah, so naturally. So that's 1 day of pushing, and then I need to know when do you stop for camp. That or earlier or later.
sunset, because I don't think any of us have great wilderness survival skills.
I can make a fire.
Yeah,
We
know
are well
that.
aware of that.
You can make a fire out of anyone and anything, but we need a fire that's going to stay in one spot and heat food.
I can do that. We just need to build a fire pit.
Well, assuming you stop a little before sunset, you are able to pitch camp successfully, finger quotes. I mean, you kind of just make a campfire and sit around it. The very first thing you hear is wolves, naturally. A lot of wolves howling all over the goddamn place. Place is goddamn infested with wolves.
Yeah, well, it's Ferelden. Wolves and dogs are canines, and there's fucking dogs everywhere.
Yep. Unlikely they'll bother you. And then again, you never know.
Let's set up a campfire on either side of the caravan, just because we are carrying, dried meats and whatnot. It might be
Well, the
nice
dried
to
meats
not get
unlikely would
snuck up
smell.
behind.
Yeah, the dried meats don't really have a distinct smell to them. Unlike the spices, which would overpower that smell anyway.
Okay, never mind.
Like I say, wolves would be extremely unlikely to bother you over the dried meat, just because between the spice smell and the fact dried meat doesn't really have much of a smell to it, it's extremely unlikely. It's more likely they're going to try and kill you over whatever it is you guys eat.
Yeah. I'll take first watch with my longbow.
Jolly good. Who has third watch?
I'll take third watch just because it's a TV show.
Fair enough. At third watch, you have noticed that some of the wolves have grown close enough to, see, basically.
Should I cast Walking Bomb on one?
I mean, should you, is the question? They're not, either within bow shot range, but other than that.
Well, I'm not going to yet.
They're just kind of stalking around, watching you, making wolf sounds occasionally.
I wave at one.
Well, it doesn't wave back, so rude.
That wolf is rude. I will cast Walking Bomb on it.
Too far away. Assuming you don't mind the wolves, Sue's last watch.
That only leaves me, doesn't it?
Well,
No.
no one distinctly said who was on the second watch, so I'm just curious now.
Valeria would probably take last because she wants to get up and get moving.
And Mogren's on second.
All right. You awaken and immediately notice the wolves that are just kind of watching.
She'll make sure she has her bow nearby, as well as her sword, but otherwise
They're
not
wolves.
doing anything.
All right. Okay. With that, morning has fully broken, and the wolves more or less scatter at this point. So you notice something. I just rolled this privately. You notice something, though, Valeria, as they scatter. One of them drops something. And no, it wasn't just dung.
She's like, thanks. Yeah, there's droppings now. Oh,
No,
what is
like
it?
something that's like pale.
Oh, good.
Do you get closer, or?
Sure.
You go closer to the scratched up and paste area where the wolves had been, and that's a handkerchief.
She'll examine it, I suppose.
You know heraldry, so you ought to pass this. This looks like a noble house's symbol on this handkerchief. They're the only sorts who would even have handkerchiefs to begin with. Looks like a rose thorn. Just, it's on a dandelion, so it's a little weird, but there you go. Some sort of dandelion with thorns.
So should she be able to roll who the hell this is?
If you like, yes.
And that is forget if focus is +2 or +3.
I want to say 2.
If that's the case, she's at a +3 total.
Alrighty then. Let's see.
Oh, wait. No, she's at +5. I was looking at my
wow.
communication skill rather than my cunning skill.
Okay, then +5. Jesus. Okay, that definitely tells you this. Fair is known for basically just the wine they make. They live fairly close to Denerim, make really nice wine. As nobles go, definitely a minor house, decently moneyed.
How obvious are the tracks?
Pretty obvious. There's enough of them to where they're going one direction, so for now it's a straight line of easiness. It's gonna probably be more difficult the further away from the road you get. I had the stuff written down before you said anything, so like don't. I mean, you don't know what psychic powers you have, but. And you don't think it's a trained wolf pack. That'd be weird.
So, which direction did they come from compared to where they're going?
They appear to have come from that direction, and they're going that direction.
Okay, now can we do that with me actually watching the map?
Sure. That's where they came from.
And does she have an idea of, where on the road generally that house is?
It owns lands thereabouts. As I said, close to Denerim.
Right. She'll wake people up. Well,
Okay, you repeatedly kick Rindlishin in the head.
Not the mage. The mage isn't people.
Okay, you repeatedly kick Sarrebaas in the head.
I said not the mage.
Okay, you repeatedly kick Rindlishin in the head. Who do you kick in the head? You're kicking
I'm
someone
not
in the head.
kicking anyone in the fucking head, but she is waking them up.
How else are you gonna wake him up? Yeah, I probably should do that. Alright.
Mogren's want you to kick in the head because he's probably drunk. Because he's... he doesn't normally have a reason for drinking, but when he has to go back to Orzammar, that's a reason to drink. Fucking racist Orzammar.
There you go.
Bastards.
Well, you're all woken up by Valyria after some shaking, poking, prodding, maybe a kick to the face. Regardless, you're all woken up.
Not my beautiful face.
Would you like to inform them of anything, or?
My face likes to not be kicked.
Like I said, she's not even bothering to wake him up.
Those who are awake are awake.
I need someone to stay here and someone to come with me.
Hey? What?
She'll hold out the handkerchief. I believe someone's in trouble.
Oh,
Where'd you find it?
There were wolves around here last night. One of them dropped it.
Ah, cool. I always wanted to shoot a wolf. I'm coming with you.
We can't leave the cart unattended, however. So either continue onwards, we'll meet up with you, or stay here.
we probably should. Tell you what, you help me just pick him up and lay him over one of the horses so he can finish his sleeping, and I'll meet you 2 hours up the road and whenever you get there.
Fine.
I'd help move him, but he's a bit big.
That's why I need help.
I can't reach his shoulders if you hold him from the other end. Mogren stands next to the horse, which you cannot see over the top of.
We sling the sleeping Canary over one of the horses.
He is heavy, awkward, and the horse does not like having his sleeping Kunari on it, but it's done.
Good. I'll have lunch ready for you.
Alright, so it seems the team of Mogren and Valyria are going wolf hunting? So, who's tracking?
Well,
Depends. What stat is tracking on?
also, what's the state of this
Perception.
handkerchief? Because if it's full of blood, that tells us something.
Also, we're going the way they came from, not where they're going.
Oh, aren't you good?
Because that's where the person or wherever they got the handkerchief from would be.
Well,
Haven.
the handkerchief in question, it's not soaked in blood or anything. Soaked in slobber, that's for sure. You think one of the wolves might have been chewing on it?
Yeah, because in general, wolves don't drag their prey off somewhere else.
Yeah, they down it and then eat.
So, you're reverse tracking wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Still need
What?
a perception check.
Is that okay? That is perception.
Yes.
+0, but that's not a bad roll.
Not bad at all. That gets
Plus
you...
1 gets you nothing. Hag.
Well, you assist Valyria, which is important because that would put you... You're at the very borders of, well, the Farron lands, and you come across unpleasantness, let's call it, in several ways. First and foremost, there's a bear. Black bear. Big old bear. Bear. 2, it appears to be eating the leftovers of something the wolves killed. And what it looks like the wolves killed an entire goddamn caravan, because there's like spilled over carts, corpses. Yeah, this looks bad. It looks like the Farrens might have been putting together, they're like, either the Farrens had their own caravan that was like leaving and got mauled by wolves, or a different caravan was simply taking a shortcut and then got mauled by wolves, It's not super clear what exactly happened, mostly because you're busy looking at the bear. It hasn't immediately noticed you, but it is a bear.
Mogren's got his crossbow drawn and ready.
Well, I guess Valeria will take out her longbow because she can then draw her weapons otherwise. But I don't think I have the time because the way this takes to draw both the sword and shield.
The bear seems more interested in eating the corpses of the slain than it is in the you two.
Kill
Yes,
the
but
bear!
we need to find out what happened, which means we need to scare it off, and it's not likely to be scared off.
It is a black bear, so it's not bigger than you, let's say.
First things first. Mogren, be ready.
You're gonna try and run at it or something?
Well, Valeria will kind of stand upright and clang her sword against her shield loudly.
The bear takes note and turns and starts snuffling at you.
She'll shout at it and continue to do so. So this is more or less attempting at an intimidate check.
Please roll.
I'm guessing it's still communication.
The bear rears up,
+1.
snuffles again, and runs the fuck away.
Alright.
This was just an intimidate contest, and she won by a landslide, like to the point where it's not even going to stick around anymore and just books for it.
Kinda wanted to get a bear skin, but whatever.
Any bear that's still alive, anywhere near this close to Denram, knows when to book it.
Now they can find out what's left, what's happened, and so forth.
Alright, then this is mostly just a search check by you two. Go ahead and roll.
I rolled like crap.
Mm-hmm.
+1.
Well, wolves didn't do this by themselves. They must have come in after or during, because wolves don't carry bows.
Arrows.
There's at least a
lovely.
couple arrowheads still embedded in parts of, like, they were obviously the arrows were removed, but they didn't have time to dig the arrowheads out of some of the caravan sides, and one or two of the corpses. The corpses are definitely traitors, also. So, judging from the wear on at least two of them, it looks like two of them were nobles of the House House Farron.
Do they have
Name of a
anything?
bird crest?
What?
Bird crest. No, theirs is the dandelion with thorns.
Alright, okay.
Double checking that everyone is dead as well.
Really super dead.
Okay. Don't want anyone to like randomly be hiding alive and then just like we walk past them.
No, they're really dead. Those that have been like chewed on by animals were like extra super stabbed.
Do we have anything identifying anyone? Besides, just
like I
the
said, two of
house
them were
sigil?
definitely nobles of the House Farron with, they had like a few tidbits on them that would recognize. Like I said, most of them have been pretty chewed on by animals. Yeah, they were mostly killed by arrows and then stabbed with swords to finish in some cases.
You said there were sometimes arrowheads left?
Yeah.
What do they look like? Are they standard?
Not really. They look to be like literally just metal sheathed over a straight shot arrow. Like instead of a classic arrowhead shape, these are just straight points.
And I assume that he can tell between a bolt and an arrow.
Easily, yeah.
fire
These are arrows that have simply been given a metal coating, essentially.
Next thing to check is what sort of thing. Are the goods all still here, or have they been all taken?
It looks like they were very much rummaged through and stolen from, and what wasn't taken, the bears have tried to guide them to.
So probably bandits.
But do bandits have that sort of, those sort of arrows?
The fact that they're sheathed in metal is odd, but having just a simple point fire hardened isn't unusual. It's far easier, and even covered in like a metal jacket, for lack of a better term, is far easier to do than shaping the arrowhead in a particular manner so it sticks. So, yeah, this isn't possible. This looks like something that would have bandits who have access to the most basic idea of smithing. They could pull that off.
Yeah.
How far away is the house grounds from here?
Very far. It's nowhere near.
Okay.
You're some distance from Denerim. You're like a day or so from Denerim, and their house is closer to Denerim than not, so...
You think this is the trouble on the roads that Alf was talking about?
More than likely. These lands are known for bandits.
Fucking Amaranthine.
Fucking on Amaranthine fault, fuck you.
Amarantine's got bandits everywhere.
I know, but it's not their fault.
Find whatever you can take from here, but we need to get going and meet back up with the rest.
I'll roll, please.
What do you roll for searching through for anything that might be valuable?
Search, which is under perception.
Woo!
+1.
You got one stunt point, use it.
I don't know if it matters when it's you can't pass anyway.
Nope. But I think you can use that to get pluses to later perception checks.
Unfortunately, it looks like the bandits were thorough enough to take anything of note or value, and the animals chewed on any supplies you could take. It's not really anything at all. I mean, if you want some arrowheads, there they are. You could sit and look for longer to be extra thorough, but just a basic search seems they got everything.
Well then, let's go. There's nothing more we can do.
Yeah. Gonna watch the trees harder now.
You head back the way you came, and the card's missing.
Well, I did say they'd be going ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, a bit more distance later, you finally catch up to them. I did check her in the shin. The only thing that happened to you is a bird tried to poop on you once.
And that's what the longbow's for.
Mm-hmm. You now have a dead bird.
Bearing lunch.
Sure enough.
Probably not a very big bird.
Maybe
One
it is
with
just
a
big.
thin sparrow.
You have reconvened with your allies. Relishin, you notice they immediately look depressed and worried, so that's something.
Find anything cool?
Dead people.
So, outdoor temperature.
We need to watch carefully. Bandits killed them. They were not far from us.
Oh. Okay.
I got fancy arrows. I want to show them my fancy bow. By, punching a cross in their chests. Had it. Crossbow.
No one laughs.
Not really supposed to.
Right, so are you going to use the rest of the day to keep going then?
Well, sitting around doesn't really help us much.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just making note of your progress. When do you camp? The usual time?
Do you think we're heading into bandit territory or out of bandit territory?
The further we get away from the city, the more likely we are to see them.
Then let's camp early and find a defensible position.
Unfortunately, with the land as flat as it is, defensible position counts to your back to a tree. And that's not really doable this close to the road.
Not the trees!
So the best you can really do is camp near the road. And there is a nice spot for it. Bit of a patch of well-used dirt that's clearly been seen a lot of travelers do the exact same thing you're likely going to do.
Yeah, see, even to my dullened senses, that screams, how about no?
How about no? Alright, what is your plan then?
I'm just putting this out there to my fellow travelers.
We find a sexy female bandit, I seduce her, and she leads us through safely.
Sure, let's pretend that's possible.
This is not Voyager.
Well, that's the case. I want a dwarf honor guard with thousands and thousands of gold pieces for me.
I mean, they're on their way, but it's a slow road.
And they're gonna run into all these nobles along the way, and they've got like Orzammar stuff they have to handle too, and
Yep.
probably get here when I'm dead.
Exactly. So, are you going to use the frequently used stop that every other caravan likely uses, or not?
Let's take a look at it. Like, is there blood in the trees?
It's basically just a dirt patch right on the road. It's nice and simple. It keeps you close to the road for travelers, so if you see, it's also open, so you can see anyone coming from at least a fair distance, far enough away from any trees to where it's unlikely to be snuck up upon.
In daylight.
Correct.
I turn over some of the dirt in this nice wide dirt patch and see if there is any detritus or blood or debris that has been lightly buried.
Checking. You discover a mole. It wiggles.
It latches onto your face.
Oh, sorry, that fell off of my face. Yeah.
I intend to add it to the cookpot with the sparrow.
You know, having mole and sparrows cook pot soup.
That probably isn't going to be very appetizing.
Have I mentioned I can't cook?
Yeah, well, it's meat, I think.
Well, there's no detritus of a fight here. I guess it's okay. I don't know. I'm not the expert here, guys. Ladies?
We should just rest.
Alright.
We may
Then,
camp.
if you're going to camp down, I just need to know who's on what watch.
Mogren's going first. He still wants to shoot something. He'd really like it if a bandit showed up while he was on watch.
Okay, Mogren, I need a perception check from you.
+1.
Alrighty then. Everyone, please go to the camp page.
You'll need to Control-E, F it to bring the stream over.
Everything's black.
I know.
Racism.
Yes, it's black from racism.
Wouldn't that make it more white? And
I'm just going to see if you figure out what's wrong.
Yeah.
And there's where the warden banged Morrigan.
So,
Bear.
Mogren, you're looking this direction.
Uh-huh.
When, you're just kind of quietly watching, when you kind of hear snuffling, I guess is the best word for it, and you glance behind you, and there's a bear eating your supplies.
Esophagus.
Okay, with the cry of bear, you may all roll into initiative now.
No, I'm sleeping through this.
That's fine. If you choose to, that's your business.
Any chance I could actually have permission to the token that's on the map?
I think it keeps happening. Yeah, hold on.
I don't have permission either. I don't think
That's
anyone has
weird.
permission.
That's
weird.
I think at this point it might actually be a bug with remote GMing.
Could be.
I've been looking into some of these issues we've been having, and I think that it's not a known one, but I think that's the cause.
But I don't get any permission.
Right, so initiative is just plus your dexterity, right?
Yeah. There you go. That should be everyone's permission set.
So I'm at 11.
+3.
Alright, let me roll up the initiative list and watch you all die by fucking bear.
+2. I'm gonna get to cast Walking Bomb on something.
Valeria, you said yours was 11?
Yeah. Rolled like crap, but my +3 comes in handy.
You've also +3 on dexterity?
Mm-hmm.
Mogren and Valeria have exactly tied. No one
Well,
rolled
wait,
any
what?
stunt points.
How have we tied? She has 11.
1, 2, 3, 11. How much do you have, Mogren, to add to that?
15. I have
Jesus
12
Christ.
plus 3.
Yeah,
his
he had rolled a 12.
the 8 is his perception to notice the bear. Too late.
Ah, sorry, I didn't see that. My bad. You got a 15, you said?
Yep.
Alright, and, Renlishin, what'd you get?
13.
Okay. The bear is probably gonna go last. No, it's not as bad as I thought it was. The bear beat Valeria, but no one else. Sarrebaas and Mogren, but Mogren is the better, so Mogren, you react first. Logically.
Jumping down off the cart. Yes, I'm just gonna go over here, and I'm gonna shoot myself a bear.
Okay, please roll stealth as per your sneak attack rules.
Yep. +5. If it fails, I get to re-roll it.
I believe you have failed, actually. Let me double check.
Depends on its perception.
Yeah, I know, I'm looking.
It's got a +1 or better.
It has succeeded on you, so...
So try again.
roll.
That's much better.
Derp, bears, derp.
Alright. Now I have a +1 to hit now.
The shiny crossbow is shiny.
So +4.
2 strike bear. Bear is struck.
Hey. So now I get 2d6, so 4d6 +1 plus perception. So 4d6 plus 2.
Owie. Well, the bear felt that.
Shot you in the butt. Haha.
Yes, you did. Sarrebaas, it is your turn.
This is still set for D&D notation, so I don't know how far away I am from the bear.
Oh, damn it. Every 5 feet is a meter, then.
1 yard?
Yeah. Or that, yeah.
Okay, that means he's 6 yards away from me, so I'm going to cast Walking Bomb on him.
Alright, you have to roll to successfully cast.
Just 1 second. Sorry, marking that off. So, yeah, roll. Yeah, that's going to fail.
Yeah, that would fail. The magic refuses to be drawn to your fingers.
Yeah, my magic is 3. My target number was 13.
It sputters and fails for you as you rise from your bed. Renlishin. There's a bear. Got an arrow sticking out of its... Sorry, a bolt sticking out of its butt.
I rise.
Okay.
Although it's technically, stand, but yeah.
Yeah.
I stand, and Yeah, in the wilderness, I would totally be sleeping with my bow across my chest.
Believe it. Yep.
So, let's get an arrow into its other end. Longbow to the face.
Very well.
Plus
That
2.
definitely hits.
Let's see here.
No stunt
Damage.
point, sadly.
Yep. Damage is d6 plus 3 plus perception.
That could have gone better.
Well, it's not a 1. Could have been a 1.
Technically, it could have been a
Bear
4.
makes angry bear noises as it sprouts an arrow from his shoulder. Unfortunately, it is now bear turn. Well, the one from the back hurt a lot more, but he didn't really notice it so well, so let me just roll privately.
Sneak attack is sneaky.
Yes, it is.
I'm hiding
Valerian's
from standing out in
detected
this open
prone.
field somehow.
Bear is mad. Bear is going to, I believe the term is charge, so it's a +1 to hit on Rendition. Let's see, this is its claws. Total of 19.
Yeah, versus my 12 defense, if I'm remembering right.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing I've got 5 armor.
Yeah. The one advantage you have with this bear, it has no armor, so all your damage is doing full. So it's probably going to die pretty quickly. However, it's going to hit like a fucking bear because it's a bear.
Bear!
He makes aspirin.
So 12 minus whatever armor you have. And it didn't generate any stun points, so that's all it does.
That'd be 7, leaving me with 27.
Lumbers toward you and takes a swipe, swatting you in the side. The good news is your armor turns away the worst of the claws, but they still bite pretty deep.
Yep.
Valeria, a fat bear just wallowed over your face.
After clawing into metal.
Well, considering it's gonna, I think I make my whole turn standing up and bringing my weapons to bear. To be honest.
That might be your whole turn.
Yeah, because it's
You ready yourself for battle with bear.
Die, bear!
I'm barely ready.
Mogren, I need you to make a perception check.
Perception. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
+1.
Oh, cool, you noticed it.
It's another bear.
Hi.
Oh god!
You're not the only one who can do stealth checks, you know. So the good news is you saw the wolf before it got to bite you, so he's not going to get his mechanics, but he is still going to try and bite you.
Okay.
I'm guessing evil druid.
Does that have anything
That is
added
at a
on to it?
+2, so a total of, well...
That
you
will
go
hit, unfortunately.
Ah, well, alright.
Because its defense is 12.
That minus your armor.
Which will come out to 5 damage to me.
Alright, there you go then. You barely, like, you hear panting is a good way to put it, and you check
Bark.
behind you, dog, and then bite 2 leg.
Barf.
At this point, the horses are full on panicking, and you can quickly see why.
Wolves. Oh god, wolves.
I cast Walking Dead on. I cast Walking Bomb on a horse.
You're probably better off, like, flame striking that entire lot.
Get out of bed.
This is true. Yes, it is your turn, Mogan.
Oh god, wolf.
I would point this out that these wolves don't seem super eager to follow up on the leader, on anyone except you. Get a nip out of you. They're looking at you more than they are the horses or Sarrebaas.
Well, I'm gonna hope that
You are the small,
Valeria...
weak one.
I'm gonna hope that Valeria and Rin can handle the bear.
The bear. Alright.
How far can I move in a single action? I forget.
Rather far.
10.
I said, rather far. And each one of these is 1, so, yeah.
Boop. On the actual road now, because why not? Oh, right, I have to reload. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna move farther away then. I just need to count it out.
Where is nice and easy?
50 indicated feet.
Surprised I didn't catch that. Oh well.
Over here. Reloading. Ah! Well, I'm
Okay.
also gonna make a stealth roll because I can.
Fair enough.
Just, oh god, dive into the shadows! Does a +5 succeed?
I'm rolling privately. You're not sure.
Fails
Other
at
ways
all,
of
I
detecting
can
you than
roll
just
it
sight
once.
is the thing.
Yes, if it fails at all, I can re-roll it once.
Reroll it then.
+5.
Jesus, okay, hold on. Yeah, even with their really high like focus and scent tracking, they actually miss you, so...
Mulgrim
Dwarf is dwarf!
Mulgrim lets out a caustic fart and they can't track his scent anymore.
or
No,
they don't
that's
want to.
That's just his morning breath.
Sarrebaas, it is your turn. You have noticed the wolves, but these guys, right now their attention is over, you know.
My face is full of bear.
Yes.
Okay, just a sec.
Obliterate. Nobody can complain if you set wolves on fire.
Set the wolves.
Nobody cares about wolves.
Wow.
They're dogs. Ferelden has enough of them. Fucking dwarf machines.
Shock.
Oh god, not the horses!
They started it.
I mean, I guess the horses will actually be tougher than the wolves, but,
I actually just forgot the horses were there, but I can hit 4 of them.
I would really recommend against hitting the horses. Both
But I
in and
can
out of
roll
character.
So you're nuking that direction, so you still have to roll magic.
You're no fun.
Mm-mm.
I know I am. Are you gonna just murder the horses just rampantly?
I mean, you got a
horses were
cone
very
blast,
much in
don't
that
you?
cone.
No, I have squares or a 10 or a 2-yard line.
Honestly, you just need to catch the 3 wolves in the blast, because
I can only catch
killed
2 of them. I've
1.
been trying to.
Really?
Yep.
I don't think you want to kill the only
Oh, it has
transportation
to,
you
it has to come
have.
from you, doesn't it?
Yep.
But yeah, please don't kill the horses. We need the horses.
Yeah, that's the only way you're getting around.
Would the GM allow a rectangular blast, but turned 45 degrees?
It looks really stupid, but alright. I'll allow it for the sake of it. Is still a direction, and it would make sense for him to not, like, he could aim north, you know? So,
I should be able to. If we could do that, I can hit 3 wolves without hitting the horses.
yeah, you do that. You have enough logic to know that if you kill the horses, your party is killing you, or making you pull the cart, one or the other.
Okay, so first magic, my target number is 13 again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope you have a +3.
I do.
Alright,
Yay!
magic happens. Barely, but it happens.
Just let me take that off of my thing first. Okay, so anyone in this takes 1d6 plus 3 penetrating damage. Okay, and if they make their stamina test, they only take 1d6 penetrating damage. That's not what I meant to hit.
How much damage? 8 plus...
He's still setting it up. He hit the wrong macro.
Okay. Right, wait.
Yep, unless they, any of one of them that passes their stamina check only takes 1.
Okay, rolling stamina.
Because unfortunately, you rolled minimum.
What is the Constitution stamina check thing?
I'm not sure, but I know 8 doesn't beat it.
But do look it up.
Just have to look up spell power again.
Well, most likely only one of them passed, but we'll see.
Okay, spell power is 10 plus magic plus focus, so 13.
Well, there you are then. They all fail. And take 4 points of damage each.
This is my second move to actually stand. My second action to actually stand up now.
Eyes.
I've been fighting them from bed.
That is the benefit of magic.
Yep. Alright, you have risen. Renlishin. There's a bear.
Question, because the Dragon Age rules on what is what action is kind of scattered across the text.
Mm.
So if I just drop my longbow where it is, how much of an action is it to pick up my maul from beside the bed?
Essentially a minor.
Okay.
Which would mean you could...
Minor to grab the maul, major to attack the bear with the maul in the face.
Thud. Alright, go ahead.
+2.
You actually managed to miss the bear.
Yeah, I figured with a 9. Looks like my tradition of rolling poorly in combat is going to be upheld, folks.
You rear your arms back, take great hold of the maul, thick enough to crack even a bear's skull, and swing mightily. The bear just sort of shifts to the left, and you miss. Bear now gets to do terrible things to you.
I saw that episode of Family Guy.
Let's see, what does it prefer to do when it finally has a whole turn?
Cook him a nice dinner.
He's not Goldilocks.
Eat his porridge.
He's not Goldilocks.
Sleep in his bed.
Still not Goldilocks.
Break his chair.
Well, it can't charge you, but it can just all-out assault you, just to get that extra 1 to hit, I suppose. Alright, might as well. Extra 1 to hit, so... Claw. That's probably... Actually, that might still hit. It's really accurate with its claws, because this is all it does. Does a 16 hit you?
It does.
Yeah, well, there it is. Minus your armor. That's all it can do.
Well, it's a good thing that I'm the tank.
It's just sort of whacking you side to side with its claws and making angry bear noises as it rears up. Valeria!
Pew. Pew. Alright, she's gonna aim and then charge it.
You have charged a bear.
So that's plus...
You have struck a bear.
Yeah, that's plus strength and all that bonus. So, yeah. Oh, and then plus strength, right. Derp. So that's +3 on top of it.
Okay, so...
I returned from being distracted by a conversation with someone else.
Was it me?
No.
Bear is definitely pretty injured at this point. Wolves. Well, their prey has absconded. They can't see or smell anymore. And scary fire just happened, so, fuck you. They leave.
I'm amazed they even came this close to the camp with a bear among it.
Mogren. You get the impression they might be used to feeding off its leftovers. Mogren.
I have reloaded. I see a bear.
Yes.
I'm gonna do I need to roll my stealth again?
Yes.
Okay.
It's for every attack, unfortunately.
Does that fail?
Yes.
Fail.
I'll roll this. I'll roll
With +5.
Well, I need to check this then.
A +6 to its perception?
No, it does not. Alright, you win. No, but it has a focus in, like, smelling to notice you when you're in stealth. So, go ahead.
Okay. +3, that probably doesn't hit.
Nope, you
It's a
missed.
good thing it has a...
Broadside of a bear, you
focus
missed.
to smelling, because it doesn't have any eyes.
Do my stunt points allow for trying again? Actually, even if I miss,
no.
I can still rapid reload off of that, I think. Where's the fuck is the...
That might be true. We'll take it to Sarrebaas.
So those wolves didn't like me scorching them, huh?
No. As soon as you put up a fight and, like, there was no one, like, alone, like, obviously alone on one side, like, the only reason they even went for, like, one of them went for Mogren as, like, a sneaky, screwy bullshit thing because he was alone, like, obviously alone.
So
You throwing fire? Nah, they're not staying for that.
yeah, you can rapid reload and do one of the other options.
Yeah, I'm trying to find where
reload's
the
only
hell the
one.
page is.
It's page 53 for just the combat one.
I was going for the one in the back, which is page 430. So yes, rapid reload, and I'm gonna this is something relevant right now. I'm going to stay aware, so I make a perception test with a test number of 11. That to make sure I'm aware of everything that's happening on the battlefield. I passed. Is there anything I've missed, Skullhat?
What are you asking me?
Did you not? Okay.
Yeah, I missed it between all the other chatter that was
I'm
going through my head.
using a aware combat stunt with one of the stunt points I had at firing. Which means
alright.
I get to roll perception, and if there's something I've missed, you tell me it. And if there isn't, I just get a +1 bonus in the next test I make.
Yeah, you just get a +1 bonus in this case. I would normally say, well, you noticed the wolves, but they've left.
So, okay. That's all. And I'd rapid reload so I can fire again next turn.
Yeah, I thought you were asking something completely different. Right, so, Sarrebaas.
I'm gonna walking bomb this bear.
Sure, why not?
Target number is 13. Fuck.
Your magic really just isn't coming to you today. So you're doing a lot of hand waving.
Shouldn't have spent the whole day sleeping.
Renlishin. Bear.
Well, bear baiting may be illegal, but bear bashing isn't. I attempt to bash the bear.
Actually, bear bashing is illegal.
He's a criminal anyways, he doesn't care. Go in and try and bash.
Bear whack.
Just double checking. You mentioned something about other, like, fall attacks or something.
You can aim.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just a +1 to hit. It's not that amazing, but it's better than nothing, you know?
Yeah, none of my stances or styles are going to do me any good against the bear, so yeah, I'll take the minor to aim to get the +1 to hit.
With your fucking hammer and swing for the cheap seat. Keep missing!
Well, that makes a total of 13.
Does it? Okay, that actually does hit the bear, thank goodness.
Okay, I use the 2 stunt on... No, not on the advanced spell stunts. There we go. Combat stunts. Okay, threatened sounded good at the first half of that sentence, but not the last half. So I'll go for... You said the bear looks injured?
Yeah, it looks pretty banged up.
I spend the 2 stunts on knock prone.
Whack a bear on the floor at them.
And here comes the damage.
Thump! Well, actually, is it a bonk on the head that knocks him prone, or are you sweeping the legs?
I am smacking him on the head so hard, his legs flop out to the sides underneath him.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to sweep the legs on a 4-legged creature.
Also bear.
Yeah, but he's got them all, I mean...
Yeah, that's also what the bear can do.
Alright. 8 points of damage. I would say he's on his last legs, but he's not. He's on his belly.
And that's
Valyria.
Well, actually, isn't it the bear's turn?
Oh, good point. Thank you for reminding me about the bear. Bear gets up, pissed off at Rin, like really extra pissed, and is going to try and murder him with claws.
Yeah,
Can't
unfortunately,
get aim in, though.
Actually, is getting up a minor action?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, then I guess there's not much point to knocking
It
someone
mostly
down.
just slows him down so he can't do 2 turns of move, you know?
Also,
Well, even with the +8, that probably isn't going to hit, but we'll see.
I only have a 12 defense.
Wow, your defense is as shitty as his.
To hit?
Yes, it is insanely good at hitting shit.
it's strong, and it's probably based off
However, it
strength.
has no ability to defend itself. It has no armor, has like basically no defenses. It just has a decent amount of health and hits like a jump truck.
It hits like a Coke truck.
Minus your armor, naturally.
Yep, that's 9 more.
Yeah, this guy has done every turn whacking Rinlish, and he's fine. So, like, that should tell you this bear is really not outside your kill range. You've just been kind of unlucky with some of your shots, especially Mr. Heavy Damage over there missing his last shot. Honestly, if he had hit him with that shot, he'd probably be dead now. But Valyria can probably finish it off.
Yep, aim plus all-out attack. So that's +4, so I actually miss.
You missed Bear's gigantic hat in your face. How?
Because there's no bonuses to being positioned in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of odd.
Yeah, I know, but what do you want me to do about it?
Fuck flanking.
I mean,
Well-
he's a bigger creature, and I can't hit him easier than I could hit someone that's really small.
I mean, his defense is crap, but like you guys have rolled kind of poop.
His defense
Yeah.
is 12. That's the same as our other warrior.
It's the same as
par
mine.
It's par for us, not crap.
On the plus side, if we ever have to fight flies, we're not. It's not going to be harder to hit them.
I'm rolling stealth. +5. Does it fail?
Probably.
+5. Does it fail?
No.
Yay! +3.
You got a 12 C hit? Just gonna probably kill it, but let's do the total.
Bang!
Dead. He a lot dead. That dead bear.
Crossbow is crossbow.
I cast Walking Bomb on him.
It's dead. Corpses can't do that.
Walking
Bolt flies out of the
corpse bomb.
shadows, thunks into the bear's back of the skull of the bear. It manages a wheeze and flops over on Rinlish and dead. And one last bear crush hug.
I am Bear Hunter.
Shrug.
Yeah, she'll
I'll
roll
run
it off.
over. I'll run over and try to move the bear off of. Strength might. I get a +3.
They extricate me from the bear, given that the GM seems to have fallen asleep at the wheel.
Hush you. I'm trying to determine whether or not they can even lift the bear.
All three lift the bear.
Yeah, between the three of you, then do it. All right, you roll the bear off for Enlishan.
Yeah, even
Ogren.
I've got to focus in might. So yeah,
Yeah,
between the
you,
four of us,
though,
no
were pinned
problem.
underneath the bear, not exactly in a position of leverage.
All right, what'd it do to our food?
Well, you have food, you guess. It's just been... The good news is, it didn't do much more than tear into it and start. It's maybe 1 or 2 sacks are, finger quotes, ruined, assuming you don't patch them up and sell them off as totally not been eaten by a bear. Or chewed on by a bear.
Be hard to notice.
Don't worry, he only got out these candy Lego bricks.
Lol.
Yeah, it would have to break through the back of a carriage.
You're not sure how much it was worth to begin with, but if you had to guess, you lost, like, finger quotes, assuming you don't repair it, you've lost 2 bags of dried meat.
Let's just repair it.
How do we repair the dried meat?
No,
Well, what you do is you
repair the
take it out,
bags.
you clean it, and then you sew up the hole, and there you go. That whoever you sell it to does not notice it's a little lighter than it should be, and then a bear chewed on a piece of it.
We can cook up the bear to replace it.
That's also an option, assuming you want to try doing that.
I say we try to make a rug.
That's also
mounting
an
the
option. A
head
bear
as a
rug is
trophy.
worth money.
I am mounting the head as a trophy. I am a bear hunter.
All of these are perfectly valid options. Who wants to do who wants to actually roll to try any of this nonsense?
Well, we have a giant axe now, so getting the head off shouldn't be too hard.
Way to not crush the skull or damage certain parts is a little harder than just swing.
Actually, you know what? Screw everything else. I'm just going to watch Valeria sleep in the most creepy way possible.
Valeria, someone is sitting on your chest and staring at you.
Then I'll just stab him.
Alright, well, you get stabbed in the thigh with a dagger.
I cast Walking Bomb on the dagger.
I get
It's not living, it
Mildred's
doesn't
help
work.
to drag the corpse of the bear a little ways away from our campsite so that if the wolves come back to get the bear, the wolves don't come to get us.
Alright, you've managed to push the bear a bit of a distance. Are you just going to leave the corpse there and do nothing with it, or do you actually have plans for it?
It's the middle of the night. We can't do anything other than set it on fire.
Oh, thank God someone remembered that part.
That is the middle of the
Oh,
night.
you guys were taking such massive penalties for doing it at night, you have no idea.
Yeah. Let's drag the bear at least to the far side of the road, and we can deal with its body in the morning.
Wolf is not taking a watch tonight.
Yeah, I'll just bleed over here. Thanks. Closer to the fire if I... Yeah.
Should we cauterize your wound with your sword?
I will point out to Valeria, who is going to be on watch for this, the wolves are going to head towards the corpse to eat.
If they
Are you
leave us
going to stop
alone,
them?
She does not care.
Alright, you don't give a damn. Come morning then, wolves are eating, and it's morning, everyone's up.
Mogren isn't.
Did I sleep enough to recover my mana?
Yes.
I need my wounds tended to at least a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I forgot. It's been a while since we played.
Since we played Zero Magic.
Well, I cast Cure Minor Wounds.
Let's see.
And
Over
I
and over
blow
again.
up in a shower of guts.
That's cunning, I believe. So +3 for the check.
And how the hell does this work again? Because I forget.
Uh-huh.
We haven't done this since, like, session 1.
Well, he can take a breather to get some back, and then you can heal him, and then that's all he can
Actually,
get.
I think it doesn't matter. I think once he's had enough time for a night's sleep, he's just recovered.
Let's see here. If you get 6 hours of restful sleep, you get 10 plus con plus level in health.
Just 12 for you?
Yep.
Okay, so then you have that, and then whatever my healing does.
Heal action, as described previously in this chapter, page 50. Oh, and then it gives a page reference later in the chapter. Thank you, Dragon Age.
Well, that's not how you write a book.
Virgie. Healing.
Mm-hmm. She has a healer's kit to supplement, but she does have cunning plus 3, so...
Yeah, I can't find this earlier in the chapter heal action. Anyone else having luck with that?
Let me look at a book.
It's a really badly written book, yes.
Healing, huh? How are you, I'm guessing Valeria just binds your bare wounds, I guess.
She has
She has
kit.
a healer's kit.
Ah, good.
Yeah,
Okay,
she
that
carries it
explains
with her.
that. Gets out the med kit, binds your bare wounds, pat you on the back, enjoy the infection.
Yeah, she would have done that before passing out. I just forgot that was her part of the party dynamic here.
Mm-hmm. You're the medic.
Okay, here we go. Cunning healing. She... Oh, okay. I get whatever your dragon dice result is, plus your cunning modifier.
Right, okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, her cunning mod is at least 3.
So 4.
Better than nothing.
And Mogren's back up to full.
Alright, that puts me at 24 out of 34, and I'll be back up to fine by tomorrow morning if we don't get attacked again.
If
Unlikely. Because at this point, I will point out that the wolves are still going at the bear, so if you want to save your bear corpse, now is the time.
Fuck it.
I mean, if you want, but I really wouldn't recommend it.
They can have a good meal, then they might be less likely to follow us.
Fair
Or
enough.
they feel emboldened
Hey,
because they
look.
have meat in their tummies.
Hey, look, I am going to have sex with that bear carcass, and you can't stop me.
Go ahead, we're leaving.
We don't want to, hang out, have breakfast, then move on. Let's get away from the wolves.
And at that, once you've pawed yourselves back in the cart, you return to the road, and today's session will be over.
Then
So I
the
know
cart
exactly what to build
explodes
next.
a few feet down the road.
Yes, as the Templars catch up to you. Which, speaking of, they're probably going to, unless you pick up the pace.
I cast
We
blocking
were.
them on the Templars.
I mean, pick up the pace to make up the fact you spent some time not picking up the pace yesterday.
Granted.
Because keep in mind, there's a good chance Templars are on your ass.
Yeah, well, first they have to figure out which road we went down.
Good point. All right, so picking the notes on that, and if anyone is curious, you have now leveled.
Yay!
Then they have to figure out which one of us is the mage.
That won't take very long.
It's the one-
Is it the dwarf that it can't be, the elf with a maul, or the woman in full plate? Or
Gee, I
is
wonder.
it the Kunari?
I know, it's a stumper.
Actually, in full plate, I can't afford it yet.
Okay, but she's still in metal, obvious armor,
Mhm.
I'm wearing
which
armor.
mages don't typically do. But you're also Kunari.
By the way, Tayo, she's totally the most tanky, though.
Yeah, she
Oh.
is.
Don't take my spot!
I
only
don't
have
know
one
which
goal.
I don't know which of you has more health, but she's definitely got the higher defense.
Yeah, she's got 16. Shield. She's a shield spec for it, so.
Yeah,
Very hard to hit and hurt.
yeah. 16,
We have
armor
the same
5,
armor, though.
health
That's just because-
34.
What is your
37 for her.
Okay.
Yes,
You are the tank, but you don't usually end up in the front line.
Somehow. I don't know, the first combat I rushed in, it's just...
Yeah, you did. Tayo does more damage, but...
Uh-huh, absolutely, especially once he gets that axe going.
And of course, I sit in the back and don't want things to hit me, but I will headshot everything.
Ooh.
I'm
Yeah.
still annoyed that the bastard sword has, like, nothing uniquely different in how it functions than the longsword. That just
It
bugs
doesn't in
me.
D&D either.
Well, it has that whole thing of you could use it one-handed or two-handed in D&D.
Yeah, but you can use a longsword two-handed in D&D.
Yeah, but it's
you
a
can't
different
in this
thing.
either at all.
And the Dragon Age system is a much more simplified, like, it's not at all Pathfinder at all. It's closer to D&D 4.0 than it is anything else. And even then, it's not the same.
Saying, like, we've been playing D&D and bastard swords aren't any better there. It's actually pretty much a waste of a feat.
Yeah, kinda.
I don't really hold up Pathfinder D&D as a good example of making weapons interesting either.
Granted. Level 3. I become a novice in a new talent or degree in a talent I already have.
Yeah, me too. Which means I get to take primal magic and set things on fire for free.
Yeah.
What do I get
Alright.
at level 3?
Everyone's gonna fucking die. Mostly from
that's-
friendly fire on the mage.
Well, that's just par.
Oh, it looks like everyone just gets a new talent at level 3.
Yeah, this is pretty standardized.
Well, this was never meant to be a long-running campaign, so I've been acting pretty suicidally anyway.
Them's the derps.